Hey everybody, decided to make a video talking about the Swain rework because I played Swain for about 8 hours today to varying success on an ult, but some of them on my main. I realized after I played him on my main 2 games in a row that he was really not good, and despite me not even being that good at the champion, that he was so not good, just so very bad that there was no way I could play him on anything other than my Smurf. Now, just to be clear, just for to avoid people thinking that I'm clickbaiting or stuff like that, my Smurf is Plat 1 with D1 MMR. And so, I did play him in at least a decent area. I wasn't playing on silver or anything like that. And I decided, let's make a video and we'll talk about him because he's really, after this rework, he's really not that good. So I'm going to go over him. We're going to talk about him. We're going to go over exactly what made him not good. So first up, they nerfed his damage pretty hard. The AP ratio on his Q, even if you hit 1 bolt, the AP ratio went down. If you hit 5 bolts, the AP ratio went from 0.96 to 0.7. That's a pretty big nerf. The pull damage got removed. There's more AP ratio nerf. The AP ratio on his ultimate drain got nerfed. The AP ratio on Demon Flare also got nerfed because it was 0.5 doubled to a 1.0. Now it's just a 0.6. He lost a lot of damage. Now, he did gain some healing. He can get a decent chunk of HP. But even then, and here's something a lot of people haven't considered, the maximum health increase per soul fragment is currently 12 instead of 5. But he can't pull from allies. So he gets less pulls, okay? And here's the thing. Swain used to double the amount of health gained from soul fragments in his ultimate. So he would actually, while in his ultimate, go from 5 per stack to 10. Then he had a base HP, in addition to that, of 125 to 275 that he also got in his ultimate. I think somebody mathed it out. You need over 150 stacks to get more HP than he used to have. So, wow, he lost a lot of damage and he lost HP. What did he gain? Well, he gained he gained a decent hunk of draining on his ultimate. So his ultimate heals for more, and the AP ratio went up. So his ultimate heals for a lot more. And you've probably noticed that he kind of sometimes feels viable just because he can heal so much, but obviously he's doing bad. Well, how bad is he? Is he viable in top lane? No, not at all. He is currently getting obliterated in top lane with a 45% win rate. Now, people like me, people who are probably playing this champion and not doing that well on him, they're obviously here. So will his win rate go up over time? Probably, but I cannot imagine this champion doing any good. And I'll go over his flaws in a second. If you're here to talk about that sort of thing, I'll go over his flaws and things like that. I kind of just want to set a base ground right now. So in mid lane, he is definitely doing better. I think that he could potentially be viable in mid lane as is, or definitely after the hotfix buffs, which I'll get into those in 1 second. But in top lane, he is suffering really badly. Everyone is running him down. He has the lowest move speed in the game. He has extraordinarily low base armor. He just gets run down and obliterated. So what did Riot do? Well, actually Riot did something that I would consider rather intelligent for Riot. They actually went through and they hotfix buffed him. And how did they hotfix buff him? They increased his base armor and his movement speed. Wow, those were honestly the 2 things he kind of needed to somewhat compete in top lane. Is this going to be enough for top lane? Probably not. To be honest, I don't think this is saving his top lane. This probably does leave him viable in mid lane though. So I'm just gonna pull up Swain here and let's just talk for a second about Swain and why he's just getting absolutely obliterated. And yes, these hotfix buffs, they do help a little bit. They'll actually be in here. Well, I'm assuming they'll be in here when I load in. But yeah, so I played this guy all day. For 8 hours, mind you. I played him for 8 hours, and even in a rank below mine where I could play other champions I don't even normally play and do pretty well, this guy just got obliterated over and over and over and over. So what is wrong with Swain? What is wrong with this rework? Well, I wanted to detail all the nerfs on his damage because I felt that was pretty important to show you that his damage went down considerably, and what did he gain to make up for it? Well, here's the problem with Swain. Okay, he does have 26. He used to have 23 armor, now it's 26, and that's after getting buffed. To keep this in perspective, your average bruiser has somewhere around 33 to 40 armor. He's got 26. That's fine. He is ranged. You don't want him to be overly tanky. But even Vladimir got buffed to 27. This is after he got buffed. His movement speed is 330. That used to be 325. I mean, even after the buff, look at this champion move. If you jump on this champion, I mean, just think about it, right? Like, even if he's in the middle of the wave, for a champion with no mobility, let's imagine he gets jumped on by an Aurelius when he clicks back to his turret. That's not very fast. That's pretty slow. And everyone is just jumping on him and kicking his ass and ghosting and murdering him. And I don't think that it's really that viable. Now, his E does have a lower cooldown because it's just 10 flat instead of 12 to 8. So, you know, sometimes he can E a lot and kind of get stacks. And, you know, he's got 14, but we've gone over that. Yeah, he can kind of get some health early game, I guess. But, oh, man, this champion is... He's really struggling. He's really struggling. So I just wanted to bring this up. I wanted to physically show you guys the sheer, like, just look at this. If he gets jumped on early game, this is all he can do. He doesn't have any movement speed buffs. He doesn't have a way, like, he can root you, and if you sidestep it or dodge it, I mean, that's it. 10 seconds, that's it. He has to walk away. That's wow, that is very abusable for a champion who tries to be top lane. Is he totally unplayable? Yeah, actually, I might honestly give you the actual feedback that he might be totally unplayable in top lane. With his damage nerfed, he needs, like, the way I would describe it at present is he needs to bum rush to his ultimate, and then once he gets his rank 1 ultimate, here's the thing, guys, his rank 1 ultimate does 20 damage per second with 15 health. It used to be 35 with 20. So even if you bum rush to that rank 1 ultimate, and the cooldown is lower, but even if you get there, the problem is his rank 1 ultimate kind of doesn't do that much. So really, you need to get to level 11. And even at level 11, it's 40 and 40, and yeah, that starts to get better, and you'll start to have some AP ratio, so that heal will start to matter. But it kind of sucks that he's sort of, like, what's the right way to put it? It's like he really wants to get to level 16, so he can get that additional rank of his passive, healing for 9%, so he can get to that late game ultimate where it finally starts doing a 65 heal with 60 damage. But he's not really a late game champion. Even with this stronger late game, he's not really a late game champion. So, what is his problem? Why is he sucking? He needs to get to level 6 even to do anything. I mean, he can't stack up Conqueror, and yet Conqueror, in my opinion, is still his best rune. Because I tried the Grasp the Undying thing a few times, and that really was not working out. Here, let me actually pull up Swain, and I'll go to all ranks just because it's day 1. We don't have that much information. If I look at this rune table, yeah, you can see Conqueror is outperforming Grasp the Undying, and a lot of people were going Grasp the Undying, and they were trying to win the laning phase, but I won my laning phase with Grasp the Undying on Swain so many times, and you get to the mid game and you don't deal any damage. You deal 0 damage, and you don't really have the much utility as you used to. You're not as tanky either. I mean, he doesn't really do that much right now. I think in the mid lane, these buffs maybe might push him to viability. I actually do think that. In mid lane, he doesn't struggle as much. And 3 more armor, 5 more movement speed, those are decent buffs. You know, they might do something. But damn, in the top lane, look, I'm telling you, it's exactly how I said it was going to be. He's so slow. He just has no way to get people off him. And against competent opponents who actually know what they're doing, who know how to do their combos, who know how to get kills, who know when to all in, who know how to position, he's just he has far less movement speed, so he's always going to lose the maneuvering game. He isn't tanky at all. I mean, look at these base stats. Let me actually pull these up for you guys, because these base stats, I'm not joking. These are bad. 26 armor and 525 health. I mean, shoot, let me pull this up against Vladimir, because that's a comparable champion, right? So Vladimir has more base armor, 1 more base armor, and more base HP with more HP per level. Now, yes, Swain can get some health. If he hits a couple Qs or maybe a W, he can get up, you know, if he gets 4 stacks, he can be at plus 48 health. But plus 48 health, what is that even worth? Right? I mean, that's nothing. Vladimir has his healing, and yes, Swain has his passive healing, but you actually have to hit people to do that. And to hit people, you need to put yourself in danger. Vladimir, and I'm not saying Vladimir is even performing that well in the current meta, and Vladimir can heal on minions. He's got his W to get him out of danger. Swain is none of that. you run on Swain and you murder him. That's it. That's all that happens. Swain just gets murdered every time. And I mean, if I want to pull up his stats compared to Kale here, another champion who can kind of struggle and end up in a situation. I mean, yeah, let's look at this. Oh my god, dude. Kale has 600 level 1 health with the same armor. She also has more health per level, so Swain has to get, what is that, 6 stacks on his passive just to equal the health of Kale. Now, yes, okay, Kale is melee, but she has 2 ways to last hit from range, and she far outscales Swain. That's the thing. For a champion who is this not, I mean, he does scale decently. He scales far better than he does before, at least in survivability. In damage, as I've gone over here, as I've shown you guys, he doesn't scale. He just doesn't scale. So many times I'm playing this champion, and I have the Leandries and I have the demonic, and you think, oh, I got these 2 items and the demonic scales with this bonus HP. Now I'm gonna crush people, and you have them and you attack people, and you man, I swear, if you play the champion, you're probably agreeing with me right now. You will hit an AD carry like 3 times with your Q. Now this is 2022, okay? In 2022, AD carries die to a light breeze, and yet when I start playing Swain, it actually starts feeling like I'm back in like season 5 or something, because they don't die. You're like, oh wow, you know, like the damage feels reasonable, and you're like, oh wow, but the thing is, nobody else is reasonable damage. It's like in a world of overpowered champions, Swain is currently the only one that feels balanced. Now, just to be clear, the reason why I think he might actually be viable in mid lane with these buffs, once again, is that he does actually have pretty decent healing. That AP ratio, that's 0.25% for each champion he's draining. It's pretty frequent to be playing Swain, and maybe it'll be far less frequent once people start building healing debuffs against him, realizing that he's basically a drain tank right now. But for now, it's pretty frequently Swain that 2 or 3 people will be attacking you, and you're in your ult, and you're not exactly killing them, but you're not exactly dying, and that's kind of the problem right now. He just doesn't do any damage. It's pretty frequent that I'm trying to, you know, that I'm surviving against 2 people. I'm outplaying them. I'm hitting my E's, my W's, my ult is draining, and the perma ult is fun. And man, he is fun. I'll tell you that. I wouldn't have played a piece of shit champion for 8 hours. I wouldn't have done that if they weren't fun. I do find him fun. He is a fun dude right now. He is a fun champion, and I like playing him. And we will bust him out tomorrow, and we will get my shit kicked in for 8 hours tomorrow too. But for now, if you're trying to play this champion, if you're feeling, man, this champion kind of sucks, and maybe we'll call this a part 1 video. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll call this part 1, and maybe we'll have part 2 coming soon. But for now, part 1, first impressions. Boy, oh boy, right? We could probably have done better. So yeah, that's gonna be this video. I'm just gonna upload this probably as is, because sometimes I like just uploading thoughts, and you guys enjoy just kind of having these videos where we just come together and give you my thoughts on it. So make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave a comment. The comments always help me. Give me your thoughts, you know, start a discussion. That's one thing too, is that a lot of people just leave throwaway comments, and those are great, you know, I appreciate them, but if you guys actually give feedback or do discussion or stuff like that, that's always wonderful, you know. So if you want to discuss Swain, if you think something or the other, maybe someone's missing something, no, it's not Riftmaker. Riftmaker is shit. Please, if you recommend Riftmaker, I will find you. I don't have time to edit this, so I will find you. We're not editing this out. I will find you, and you don't want to know what will happen after I find you and see you build Riftmaker on Swain. It will not end well. So that's this video. Thank you all for watching. Special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys are wonderful. If you want to subscribe to my Patreon, you can do that, and the link is in the description. Subscribing to my Patreon helps me out a lot, and I would thank you for that immensely. If you are a YouTube member, I thank you a lot. If you just like this video and leave comments, I thank you a lot for that too. So thank you everybody for watching. Let's see, maybe tomorrow with these hotfix buffs, you know, let's call this a part 1 video. If there's no part 2, he's still terrible. He's still awful. But if there is a part 2, maybe we disregard this video. But this is kind of like a first thoughts on Swain, and I was right. You know, I gave him the benefit of a doubt. I played him for 8 hours, and I did. Here's the thing, guys, just to be clear, I did think at the end of it that there was something a diamond in the rough. Okay, I felt like there was something here. I was doing fairly decent for a few games, and I thought to myself, there's something here. He's just really, really bad at top lane in particular. In mid lane, maybe. Top lane, we'll see. Maybe these buffs will help. I mean, these are definitely top lane buffs. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye, everybody.